Hello again and welcome to a very special Oxygen XML live event. My name is Alin Belu and I will be your host for this incredible session. Not only that it's our last event of the year, but today we chose a special format. So we are not going with our usual way of doing things because today we will have a panel discussion. In this panel discussion, I am joined by my colleagues, Alex Jitianu, Product Manager for Oxygen XML Author and the Oxygen AI Positron Assistant, Octavian Nadolu, Product Manager for Oxygen XML Developer, Oxygen JSON Editor, and Oxygen Scripting, and Bogdan Dumitru, Software Engineer working for the Oxygen XML Web Author and the Oxygen Content Fusion products. So it will be crowded today. Now, why did we choose this format instead of our usual one? Well, there is a lot of ground to be covered just for one person regarding our latest release for the Oxygen XML suite of products. The end of autumn saw the release of version 27 of the comprehensive solution for content authors, developers, collaborators, and publishers. This release was definitely packed with some innovative new features and improvements for which my colleagues will go over in depth in just a couple of moments. And at the end, we will have an extended Q&A session in which your questions will be addressed properly. Regarding this Q&A session, I want to encourage you from the start that as we go along, please ask us questions by using the GoToWebinar questions panel from the GoToWebinar interface, where we will also try to answer them in real time, but some of them will be saved for the main Q&A session at the end of this hour. Another important information is that this webinar is being recorded. This means that in the following days, the recording of this webinar will be uploaded on our site, oxygenxml.com, along with my colleagues' sample and slides. And also it will be uploaded on our YouTube channel that I think that most of you know of, Oxygen XML, where you can also find an impressive library of videos and tutorials, and of course, webinar recordings just like this one. I will not waste any more time because I am excited for today's presentation. So now I don't want to take all the limelight. So let's start with Alex. Alex, you have the floor.
Thank you, Alin. I hope you all can hear me. So I will start saying a few words about what I am about to focus on. So on the AI Positron side, we had lots of use cases, a lot of functionality being built. It's a very fast and agile development workflow. So it was hard for me to choose just a few things to present to you, but I've tried to pick what I've considered to be most important. So we'll talk a bit about Retrieval-Augmented Generation, about creating drafts, performing document updates, and how to make the AI do more by giving it tools. So first of all, what is this Retrieval-Augmented Generation? For those of you that are new to the concept, why would you need this? Well, because it is a mechanism through which you enable these large language models who knows a lot of things, They've indexed the entire internet. So you enable them to generate output based on specific external data. And why is that important? Well, it is because in doing so, you will get more accurate, more context-aware responses that are a match, a great match for your particular context and project. And within Positron, there are two ways in which we support this RAG functionality. The first one that we've introduced is based on the Oxygen project concept. So I will go to Oxygen, and so here in this Oxygen instance, I have it's not the correct Oxygen instance. So I have opened the actual Oxygen user guide. So there are lots of topics here in our documentation about various concepts and workflows. And the project, it's well, this XPR file, it's a configuration together with various resources that they form together everything needed to offer a unified editing experience. So let's assume now that I want to create a new DITA topic. And it's about conversion from Word to DITA. What are the options? So I give here a couple of details about what I want in this new topic. A short topic, the possibilities to convert Word documents to DITA, and please add references to my other topics, because I know that I have already existing information topics about how to do these conversions, and there are multiple options, but I want a unified topic to bring these all in one place. So after I give all these details and instructions, I click generate, and let's see what happens. So the process is started, and you see the first step here is that the AI tries to pinpoint to retrieve relevant topics from within my own documentation. So this is a bit like we see the strings behind. So it does this by invoking a specific function, this get related resources overview from project, and the AI decides what to search in my documentation, for example, words to DITA conversions, and afterwards we give from the project some URLs that are relevant, together with some descriptions, maybe the short description from these existing DITA topics. So there are multiple documents being here with their descriptions. And based on these descriptions, the next step for the AI is the AI decides which of these topics to read, the content, all the content of these documents. So this is what it requests on the next steps. I want to read this document, and we give it that document and maybe another document, and so on and so forth. And afterwards, it composes this topic that I've requested. Word to DITA conversions. Here we have a little preview in our author mode to help us read it. And to instantiate this topic, we have here a create document from response action. We just click it, and it will create the DITA topic. The second scenario, the second option, is to use RAG, is based on the Oxygen feedback product. So the Oxygen feedback, it's a modern commenting platform that attaches to your published documentation, like a WebHelp responsive generated from your DITA project, and offers various functionalities like search functionality. And how we reach this this option is that perhaps not everyone is using an Oxygen project file. Maybe some of you are in a CCMS that has its own project, so to say. So we are not able to do this RAG in the project. But instead, if you publish your documentation to an Oxygen WebHelp responsive with feedback attached to it, then we'll be able to do this RAG using feedback. So for this demonstration, I will go in another instance of Oxygen, and I will try a similar scenario. But if you take a look here in the project, you see this is all sorts of topics. It is not Oxygen documentation related, and this requires this type of RAG requires a bit of setup. So if you go to preferences, you need to say you want to enable a RAG in external sources. There's some information that you need to give it here. There's a token. In our documentation, you can find out how to identify this token. So you put it here, click OK, and afterwards we can try a similar scenario. So we say new DITA topic and we paste it. So now it searches for similar content in the feedback, and we see that it invokes some similar functions, and it got some matches in this published page and some other ones as well. And afterwards, we have this somewhat similar topic, because obviously I published this WebHelp responsive with the feedback attached to it from the same Oxygen project as I had in my previous scenario. Now, again, you can create the topic like so. Now, even though you might see a bit of red validation errors here, please remember that there are, you should not use AI for everything. You can have your schematron rules to catch little errors and fix it according to your style guide. Also, there's a context variable here in the preferences where you can give more instructions to the AI so that the generated content is more attuned to your style guide, so you won't get those little validation errors afterwards. Now, so there are a couple of stages in the life cycle of a documentation project. In the early stages of a project, you have a majority of new document being created. So the effort is focused on creating new documents. For example, onboarding guides, user manuals built from scratch. So we could say that there's maybe a 70–90% of new documents being created, whereas document updates consist in less, like 10–30%. And afterwards, a documentation project goes into a growth or maintenance phase in which there are more updates being performed than new documents being created, which kind of makes sense. So we could say that in this phase, you are refining existing document to reflect changes in the software, or maybe you address user feedback that you receive through various channels, right, to improve the clarity of your documentation. So in this other phases, perhaps only a 20–40% of new document consists in new documents being created, whereas the document updates part is bigger, like maybe 60, 80%. So we thought about, we want Positron to help you in both of these type of stages, both with creating new documents in these early stages setup, and also to update existing documents. So let's focus a bit on the creating new documents scenarios. So how we are helping you with this. First, there's the expand draft action. Okay, it's in this one. So as its name suggests, what it does, it starts, so this action receives as input some preliminary draft content, and it will use your project as inspiration to add content, to add markup similar to other topics in your documentation. It will read the images and add documentation on the widgets and fields present in these images. And if we switch this, so you create this data topic. So it's a normal data topic. As we can see here, it has some paragraphs, some images, some information that perhaps it's taken from a Jira issue or other form of issue tracking. Maybe it has some similar topics being referenced, right? And once I have this preliminary draft, I can click the expand draft action. And you see again with these tools that we've given to the AI, it searches in the documentation for similar topics like converting between schema languages, because I've mentioned that here, and it finds some topics. It might read some similar topics as well. Here, for example, it reads the topic about converting between schema languages to use as inspiration, maybe for markup, for structure. And afterwards, we get the expanded version. So if we look on the right here, we see there's just a sequence of images, whereas in the proposed version, after each image, it documents some of the elements from the image. Here we have a little more information in this image, and it's being documented here. And afterwards, if we click replace, it will replace the draft, the initial draft, with what it generated. And it uses definition lists, for example, because it saw in my similar topics, in other topics from my documentation, that I document such widgets, such UI controls using definition lists. Okay. Let's see. So that's one way to do it. The second way in which you can create new documents, so you already saw the new data topic action as well, which knows how to do RAG. But we also have a generate documentation draft positron action, and it's present here. Yes. So how this works is we have a template for this. It's this one over here, and you click create, and afterwards you get this type of a document that I already have here a bit with a little more meat to it. And it has a couple of sections, like for example, some draft summary, perhaps a context, in which you instruct the AI to assume a specific role. You tell it what kind of expertise, its area of expertise. Maybe you can put some data about the audience, the intended audience. You can also give some instructions to the AI on how to generate the content. You specify a couple of images if it's a software product that you're documenting. And afterwards, once you have this created, you click the create the generate documentation draft action, and out of all these datas and images, it will generate a draft for you. Now, you might, so it's, yep, and this is the generated draft. And so this different approach, as opposed to the original expand draft action, I would say that because it has this structure and semantics, you can get a greater precision, a greater quality, perhaps, in the generated draft. Because it's clear this is the audience, and after each images, you might give it some instructions. So it's you can of course get great results with the original expand draft action, but you need to have this discipline of specifying all these aspects. Whereas here with this template, they are here, they're in your face, you see them, and it makes you ponder, and afterwards you give this information. Now on the document updates workflows, we have some actions, we have workflows that can help you with that. For example, such workflows would be image-driven updates. Like you have an existing topics with some search functionality. That topic exists, but it receives on the new version of your product, it receives some filters for search by date or by author or by category, and the AI is able to detect these in your images and to update your topic. And we can do that quite. This one over here. So we go here. So this is an old topic about fast creating topics in Oxygen, but I've updated the image with the new functionality. So when I click update content based on images, okay. And if you, well, we could use preview as well, but it's pretty obvious that here it also added these new filters like file name, prefix, suffix, and these other options here. The new functionality that was added. Help with data reuse, something that feedback that we received from our users. Okay, I'll open this map here and it's getting started. So as I write a note, for example, and I start to ponder, do I not have a reusable component for this? And to answer this question, we have this in the reuse category, we have this component action. and I click it, and you see that it actually finds it should find something, but for some reason it kind of started to give me some Python code. Okay, and this other one is with to help you with product names. Usually in DITA projects you have keywords, so you can reuse these product names. And you see here the AI was able to identify this Oxygen, this keyword here, because I already have a key here, a product for my products. And I feel like the time is pressuring me. So for this other one, we generate image, alternate text. I know that Bogdan also has an example with that, so I will leave him to present this to you. It's an action that was well received by our users. And on the quick refactoring side, so sometimes you want to do something fast in your topic, and perhaps the positron side view is nowhere in sight. Like I want to generate a list. So what we did, we added this widget here on the right, and there's with the most commonly used actions, and there's a rewrite content here, which has a shortcut as well. So if I press this shortcut, I get this text field here. I just type my instructions, and afterwards these are sent to the AI, and the content is automatically inserted. Now perhaps I want to convert this to an ordered data list, and it gets converted, but it still is not right. So I changed my mind. So now I want a table. I want a 2 columns table. I meant to do this to say, and then I get the table. So a quick way to refactor your documentation without having to go to the positron side view. Intelligent agents. So the idea behind this, the use case is, why not let the AI do more? For example, to create new topics for you using already created content, right? You have a lot of content in your documentation, or maybe to analyze the topics and make improvements to these topics automatically. And I will show you just one example here. So, okay. So in the intelligent agents category, there are 3 actions. I will use this create topics, and I will say that I want to create 3 new topics, something about our Git client, and I click run, and you see it does a bit of RAG in my project, searches for various concepts, and afterwards it proposes some content for these 3 new topics, and I can inspect them, and if I consider them to be correct, so it asks for my approval to create these topics, and I give it the approval here, and afterwards you see it begins to create these topics. So now it creates the pull.data topic, and afterwards the push one, and at the end the commit one. And because it has some validation issues, it will try to fix them, right? So when it creates the topics, we perform a validation, and we give to the AI the validation errors and tell it to try fixing it. And now it fixed the validation errors, and it can update the DITA map as well. So I can say, yes, update the DITA map. And afterwards, it gets the DITA map context, and it tries to update it. I say allow, and if we look to the DITA maps manager, we'll notice that it added references to these 3 new topics, right? So it's a true assistant that can perform an operation from 0 to 100%, hopefully. Okay, thank you. So these were my my parts. Aline, can you pass the token to Octavian?
Yes, thank you, Alex. And now here's Octavian.
Thank you, Alex. A lot of information you have there. Yeah, a lot of AI was added in Oxygen 27, and we're still working on this part. So yeah, there are a lot of to say. Probably a new webinar will be great. So we'll continue with the development part. In Oxygen 27, we added some of the features also on the development, some with AI, some without. And the development part consists of the technologies like XSLT, XQuery, XSD, JSON schema. So there are different technologies and standards that we support in Oxygen. And we keep updating these standards, and we improve them. We also added AI support for this. Before I continue, I have a question for you here. What technologies do you use? I want to know more about what do you use from Oxygen, like for developing, and I will start a poll so you can answer, and then I'll share the information with you. So I think it's not this poll that should be started. Aline, can you change the poll? I think this is the last poll. The one with the technologies should be started. So yeah, so if you are using, for example, XML JSON validation, or if you are using technology such as XSLT or XQuery, or schemas, different schemas for validation or file comparison, or maybe you have other technologies that you use from Oxygen, and you can also add this in the questions panel so we can know more about what to use from Oxygen and the directions that we need to go more maybe and improve our support. So I think we can leave this poll for a few moments. Okay, so I see most of you are using for XML, probably DITA, and also for transforming, schemas, file comparison. So thank you for sharing this information. I think we can go further. So in this release, we added features also for development with AI. But also features for XSLT, XQuery, for applying quick fix proposals, JSON support, file comparison, and the scripting. I'll go through some of them, and I'll show you some examples. I'll not cover all the parts. Probably we'll have some different webinars where you can discuss more about, for example, on the AI development part. So for the development, we added some actions such as explain code, document code, chat about code, generate code, or suggest refactor. The AI is available in Oxygen, in all Oxygen products, and you can use it to also the RAG there or other support that we have in Positron. But we also implement these actions specific for for XSLT, for schematron, or for XQuery. So you can develop also this type of documents, or for XSD and JSON schema. And we also added quick assist, some quick assist action that will allow you to access these actions directly from the editor. And we also updated the AI functions, transform content, and validate that we use in schematron validation or quick fixes, and also for XSLT development. So we can use also AI in XSLT. I will show some examples with the development actions. I have here a document with some examples that is available also from our user manual. It's a project on GitHub. So for example, we have this explain code, and I have here an XSLT. And for someone that doesn't know very much about XSLT or want to understand easier for example, this template, it can use this action from here, from the quick assist menu, and just select the explain code, and you'll get an explanation of the template in the view here. And you can read what the template does, that it's a recursion that processes some images and generate an image. And then we have here also summary with the exactly what the template does. So you can use this action in order to understand better the code, and you can use for different type of documents. You can use it also for XQuery or other type of documents. Another interesting example is with the document code. This action, for example, allows you to generate a documentation for a function or for a template, and it has generates a simple documentation with a description of the function. And I can go to the template and do the same thing here, and it will generate the description of the template here. So you can use it to generate more easy the documentation, and this will help you to develop the style sheet. And maybe if you want to have it documented well, and when you go to read your style sheets, it will help you to understand better what it does. Another example, it's with chat about code, where you can use to refactor the code or to ask question about the code. So for example, here I have a style sheet, and I can go on this template, and I can say, okay, I want to chat about this code, and I can say describe the code, for example. Then I get a description of what the code does. Then I can say break the template in multiple templates, and I can get a response from the AI with how I can break this template in multiple templates, so I can reuse the template later. And then I get also the explanation or how was this generated. And there are also other actions with the suggest refactor or generate code that will help you to refactor the code or to generate content. I can show also a quick example for generate code. So you can have a description of a style sheet that you want to create. For example, this is for a guest book, and I can have a text that I can select or just a comment, and then I can use this generate code action, and this will generate the style sheet that process this guest book. So I can then have a discussion, maybe improve this style sheet later. So we have different actions that you can use from Oxygen development. You can also create your own custom actions and develop in Oxygen and use it similarly as the one I added here. I will not go too much on this. We intend to have maybe a webinar dedicated to this part, so we can explain better all that you can do with this support that we have for development. Then we added also features for XSLT and XQuery. An important feature was the update to Saxon 12.5, the built-in Saxon that we provide in the latest version. Then we added some new Saxon extension functions. We added support for XQuery 4.0. We updated the XSLT and XQuery add-ons, Saxon add-ons. For XProc, this was added in previous version, but I want to mention here that you can edit XProc files, validate them with 3.0 schemas. So we do not have yet an engine, but you can use an external engine for also for processing. Another feature is the apply all quick fixes. This is an action that allows you to correct the problems from your project. For example, you have some rules that you add on our project using some schematron, and you define also some fixes. Then you can correct all the problems from the project just by using this this action. This can be applied on a simple document or on a project or directly on the DITA map. I will show you also an example for this. I have here a project with some blog. It's a separate project. Let me close this. It's a project about a blog that has some rules that I added here. And I have a framework here with that defines these rules, and are rules related to the href or to the IDs from the topics. And I have here a document that doesn't follow all these rules. So if I validate, I get some problems here that the prologue is not set, or the topic ID is not correct, or I don't have an output class. And then I can go to correct each problem, but I can also use this action to correct all the problems from the document. And I get a preview with ID that was changed. In the right, it's what is proposed to be changed. So I have here an output class with the correct ID. I have here, for example, an alternate text added. And I can apply directly this on the document. I can also fix these problems directly from the results view, similarly, but I can also fix all the problems from the project. I can just select the files, or I can go in the DITA map and say, okay, I want to go to refactor and apply all quick fix, and I want to apply it on my current DITA map, and I can preview the changes. So now all the files are processed, and I get this result. I can check what is changed in my document. I can also go to the text page to preview the changes, and I can go through all my all the fixes that are proposed for my project, and I can apply them to correct. And now all my documents are valid, and I know that it's a correct project. So it's very easy if you want to enforce rules in the project, and then you can correct them very easy using this new action. Another support that we added in the latest version is the support to transfer JSON documents. We now provide full support for XSLT and XQuery. You can create transformation scenarios for JSON. You can run this transformation scenario from projects, so you can run multiple transformations. There are also other changes for editing JSON5 or for indentation when you edit JSON documents. So now you can edit indent parts of the JSON document. I can show you also for this some examples. So let me go back to this project. So now you can transform a JSON document, either it's a JSON object or a JSON array. You have in the transformation these two new type of scenarios. So you can create a JSON transformation with XSLT or with XQuery. I already created one with XSLT, and this generates from this data an HTML with weather data, and the output is in an HTML file that it's open in the browser. So if I apply this, it will generate automatically this HTML file with the information from the JSON document. And I can also perform a similar task for XQuery, but this time I have an XQuery that processes the JSON document and generates an XML and filters the information and generates just the part with the information data from Bucharest here. So it's this XQuery that I apply. So you can also use XQuery to process JSON documents, and you can generate different type of information using XSLT or XQuery. You can also apply it batch, so you can select the files from the project and then use the configure transformation and say, okay, I want to process all these documents, and I want to generate for each one an HTML document. Okay, next we also improve the file comparison. So now you have the ability to ignore nodes by XPath also in div directories. So when you compare, for example, two projects, or you want to merge changes, you can use this ignore by XPath option to ignore some of the content from your project and focus on the real changes. I'll show you also an example for this. There are also some API changes for merge documents with change tracking. So now you can use the support to merge document with change tracking from API. And also we improve this tool to have more and more features. I'll show you an example for comparison. So I have here, for example, a project that has a branch, and I want to compare it with the main version. So I can go in the project and use this compare action. And you see that I have a lot of changes. And if I go here, I have a lot of IDs that are generated. And I'm not interested in these IDs because this can be generated by my engine, and I don't want to see all these IDs. So I can go here in options, file comparison, and say I want to ignore nodes by XPath. And I want to ignore all the IDs from the document. And then if I press again, compare, I will get only the changes that are not made in the IDs. So the ID content is ignored now. So I can focus on the exact changes that are made in my project. This is another important feature that we added. Then also the support was added in the scripting, so you can also use the support from scripting, and we added also some flexibility on the comparison part. We improve also the validation and check for completeness in the scripting, the performance. There are also other features that we have here. I didn't add all of them here, but I focused on some of them. We have also future plans, and we wait for your feedback. So we intend to add new actions on the development part to generate content based on, for example, on an XML document, generate an XSLT or an XQuery. Also, we want to extend the support for AI functions so we can pass more parameters like the engine or other parameters that you need to pass when you make these transformations. We intend to keep updating our technologies such as Schematron, or have support for XPath in JSON using JSON array and property, and of course security updates. I don't know if we can start again the poll. I think, yeah. There's also a poll here. Maybe you can tell us what features are important for you, and added here the ones that we intend to implement. But if you have other suggestions, you can also add them in the questions panel, so we can address them later. Yeah, we intend to improve also the AI, but also keep updating our support and improve the support that we already have in Oxygen. So I think we can let the poll, so everyone will answer. So thank you for voting. So most of you are in the Schematron and XPath over JSON. So thank you for sharing this with us. I think we can go to the next part of the webinar. Thank you for.
Thank you, Octavian. You're right. Let's move to our next and final section of our overview. I will give the connection to Bogdan Dumitru.
Hello, hope you guys see my screen now. And now let's see what's new in WebAuthor 27. Well, first, for those who don't know, WebAuthor is a web-based solution that allows authoring and reviewing documents. It doesn't have a storage, but it can connect to various file servers like GitHub, Bitbucket, GitLab, or any Git server, and perforce SharePoint, I think WebDAV, and many others. Here are some of the features that the version 27 brings. Some of the noteworthy AI features are an even more powerful chat that is aware of your context, like my colleague Alex said earlier. You can link files in the chat with a file browser. This allows you to ask questions regarding a particular file. And the chat now can interact with your project under the hood to read and write files and list directories so that it can complete various tasks. And besides that, there are a few new interesting smart actions like split topics, expand draft, proofread, and resolve comments. And last, some image-specific actions like the update content based on image and generate image alternate text. On the authoring part, now you have an improved outline view that can be used in concurrent editing sessions and that is aware of profiling attributes, presenting as grayed out nodes that are excluded by the DITA file. The smart paste markdown content allows you to paste markdown snippets that will be converted automatically to the proper DITA, DOCBUR, or HTML markup. On the reviewing part, now you can add color highlights, a feature that has been available in Oxygen XML Editor for some time. And the compare and merge tool now can handle plain text, so you can diff and merge markdown documents and plain text documents. And when you diff XML documents, you can see or visualize differences in text mode. On the DITA side, the latest version brings support for a specialized DITA Map tree editor, somewhat similar to the DITA Maps Manager, and support for DITA OT project file that allows you to define publications in a logical way. Instead of it allows you to, instead of choose a map and edit a val file, it allows you to choose within a drop-down at context from a predefined set of context defined in the DITA OT project file. Okay, how is AI in WebAuthor? Well, Oxygen AI Positron, our AI solution, it is also available for WebAuthor. Sorry, it integrates as an additional plugin. And here you can see how it looks in WebAuthor, a side view pretty similar with the one from Oxygen XML Editor. The AI Positron chat is not just a plain chat that takes requests and responses back and forth. The chat session is aware of your context, the current document, the document type. It receives the selection within the document, the text around caret, etc. The chat allows you to attach files, and the application enhances the chat with many capabilities and functions. So it allows you to focus on what you need to do without spending too much time giving additional context. And let's see the chat in action. I just click this link. Let me go to the Positron side view. I have to connect. And this is the Positron side view, and here is the chat. The current project is a project about an imaginary mobile phone. And the first topic is kind of blank. Let's say that I want to fill this topic with a description of the phone. And for that description, I have another topic with the specification for the phone. Actually, there are two phones. And I'll just write here in the chat, write me a description for the phones, taking into account the specifications from the following document. And now I'll attach to the chat the specification topic, specifications, and click choose and send. Now I have to wait a little. Now I see that the document, that the Positron requested the document, and I have a response, pretty big one. But let's say that I want a smaller response or shorter one. Make it shorter and avoid using specific values. Make it, I don't know, marketing oriented. This I think this looks good. I can click preview. Oh, unfortunately, when I sent the action to the chat, my caret was in the title and the preview shows the whole content inserted in the title, but no worry, I can select this and just copy. Okay, back to the presentation. Another interesting feature that another interesting, I don't know, thing that you can do with the chat is that you can select, for example, a SVG image and tell the chat to change it a little. For example, I can tell it to add another circle to this image like this. Circle to this SVG image, yellow one. And it works. And let's preview it. It worked. I don't quite like the position of the yellow circle. I can go again and tell the AI to move it a little, but I won't go any further. The latest positron brings a new set of actions. I'll mention just a few. The two intelligent agent actions, split topic, expand draft. The split topic identifies distinct topics within your document, and for each creates a separate topic and links them to the initial topic. The expand draft consumes a draft and outputs a well-formatted topic, just like my colleague Alex said earlier. Then the two review actions, proofread and resolve comments. The proofread reads the document, finds contradictions or problems, and adds comments for each. The resolve comments resolves the review comments. So let's see how those actions work. This is a page dedicated to Oxygen AI Positron Assistant add-on within the Oxygen XML blog. And somewhere below, I have a link to a Positron Assistant samples playground. And this is a GitHub repository that contains for each action inside the positron a sample document on which you can invoke that action to see how it works. And I'll open this project within Content Fusion. I have already configured the project in Content Fusion. Content Fusion allows me to access the documents from the repository, edit them, and commit them when I like the way they are. And now I have to find the example for the I'll choose the proofread and resolve comments. So I can go to the data map. Let me switch to the view topic content. This is a proofread. Okay, and this is the sample document. Now I go to Positron and click proofread. And let's preview the result. And now you can see the review comments with the description for each problem. I can click apply, accepted the review comments, and now I can continue to invoke the resolve comments action that will read all the review comments and will apply the suggested changes. Again, preview. And now this paragraph is clear. I don't grill my kids, I'm grilling with kids and family. Okay, click apply. And this is how it works. Now to the AI Positron images support. The images support allows you to automatically generate alternate text on images if you are maybe too lazy to do it yourself, or if you have more important things to do with your precious time. Also, you can ask for updates based on image contents. For example, if you have a photo with a menu with actions that are undocumented in the topic. And this is the sample topic that my colleague showed earlier, but now I will invoke the generate alternate text action for this image. Let's see what I get. Okay, and this is the alternate text, the fast create topics dialog box with options to configure not DITA topics. That's great. Okay. Moving on, the outline view now shows nodes that are filtered by the DITA val as grayed out, just like the editor does. And it can be used to edit documents in concurrent editing sessions, so you can drag and drop nodes or invoke actions within the contextual menu. Let's see it in action. This is a map document, and here I have the outline view. It shows the references only now. And if I go here to view topic titles, the outline view now presents the titles for the topics. I can click a node in the outline and the selection will move. I can drag and drop nodes. I can invoke the actions within the contextual menu. And this is how the outline view helps me. Color highlights. The color highlights is a feature that has been available in Oxygen XML Editor for some time and is now available also in WebHelp. It enhances the review capabilities, allowing you to quickly add highlights. For example, if you read a legal document, you can add highlights for unknown or unclear terms, and at the end you can check each term individually. To add a highlight, first you have to choose a color and then simply select the text. All highlights can be seen in the review panel, and let me show you. Those are the available colors. Let me choose yellow. I can go here and simply select one text, other text, and you see here in the review side the colored text. Okay, moving on. Sorry. The compare tool within the web author received a consistent update. Now you can diff and merge markdown documents and plain text documents. It even supports showing images but just side by side. When diffing XML documents, you can see the differences on XML source in text mode. This is useful when there is a difference that cannot be presented in the author diff or that is hard to understand. But this is also important because it gives full understanding, clarity, and control when accepting a proposed changes or when merging. And this is how a diff between markdown documents looks. It's pretty similar to the author diff. Documents are presented side by side with markdown syntax coloring. And this is how text mode works when diffing XML documents. In the background, you can see an author diff saying that it detects differences that cannot be visualized in the author mode, and in the foreground, you can see all differences on XML source. So let's see how it works. So I see here a line with a diff, and I can go to full tags with attributes, and I see that is a change in the attribute value, but below I cannot exactly see what's different. But when I go to the text mode, I can now see that is a processing instruction added between the table rows. Okay. And the specialized DITA 3 editor. This is a heavily requested feature, and we created a dedicated editor for the data map documents that is inspired from the soul of data maps manager from the Oxygen XML editor. The support can be enabled by integrators. It has an API for CMSs, but we aim to make it generally available in the product. So feel free to send us feedback, requests, or questions or ideas about how do you expect this to work in the product. Currently, we just integrated this in the Oxygen Content Fusion in the workspace area. So the features of this editor, you can see and edit data maps as a tree instead of editing them as an author mode. You can organize references within the map with actions and with drag and drop. You can select multiple nodes, of course. You can easily visualize profiling attributes, keys, and topic types. And the titles are presented by default for each reference. So let's see how it works in Content Fusion. I'll open the mobile phone project, and this is the workspace. And from here, I will open the map in the tree mode. So you can see this node grayed out. This node is grayed out because the current data val excludes this. If I click here, I can show profiling attributes. I can reorder nodes with drag and drop. Let's move those two. Just like this. I have a contextual menu with many actions. I can append references below, after, or as child to the currently selected node. I can even define keys. and I can edit the profiling attributes with this dialog, like this. Okay, moving on. So if you liked what I've presented, you can go and try both WebAuthor and Content Fusion Online from the Devon servers. And if you want to see more samples where AI Positron shines, see the AI Positron Assistant Samples Playground, a collection of documents, one for each action in the positron. So this is the last slide. Thank you for your attention. And now you, Alin, have the word. Maybe you can read the questions.
Yes, thank you, Bogdan. And of course, we can see each other again on the screen. Well, let's move on to the one of the most awaited parts of today's event, the questions and the answers section. Before this, I want to thank everyone that is joining us today. I know that we are getting closer and closer to the end of the year, and being in a live event, it's a big commitment. So again, thank you to Alex, Octavian, and Bogdan for being able to join us and show us the newest features. And of course, the biggest thank you goes to you, our audience. Now let's go to our questions. And of course, if any of you needs to share their screen, just tell me and I will give the control to you. The first question comes from Scott. We need the ability to configure AI Positron to restrict queries from content in certain file system folders. Is this currently available or planned?
So I can take this. So we've taken a few steps towards this end goal. So right now, when doing this Retrieval-Augmented Generation in the project, there is in the preference page, there is a text field in which you can say explicitly in which folder the AI is able to read documents from. By default, it is the project directory and the directory of the current DITA map. But in the next, what we're on the roadmap, in the next version, we intend to also add an option to completely disable positron. And this option would be able to, you will be able to save it at project level. So this means that in sensitive projects, when you work in these sensitive projects, the AI will be disabled altogether. And another thing that we've considered, also about the user feedback, is to add a positive filter in which you will explicitly specify the files or the folders in which the AI is able to get content from. Also, as you've probably seen in my my parts, as the AI tries to write or read files from your project, there will be some confirmation messages being presented. So now it's you'll know what's happening.
Thank you. Thank you, Alex.
Our roadmap, yeah.
Let's go to another question. This one regarding RAG, the Retrieval-Augmented Generation process. For RAG, does it use a lot of tokens if you have a very large topic set to get the context from?
So it's debatable. We try as much as possible to avoid that. So the first step, the AI, it's given an overview the top 5 topics that match the search criteria. So it doesn't get the entire topics, but just an overview, like the titles, maybe short descriptions or so. And based on this information, it will decide which topics to read. And afterwards, the content of those topics will be sent to the AI. Now, if it decides to read all of those topics, there might be a little more tokens than expected.
Yeah, but if it's a big project, doesn't matter. If it just takes some of the topics, it doesn't take all the topics from your document. Yeah. So I think it's pretty good.
It's a, you need to test it to see. It's, at some point you have to, there is a cost for quality.
Yeah.
You have to, you're the one that have to decide if it's worth it or not.
Okay, let's go to another question. Thank you for the answer. Regarding preventing positron in certain folders or projects, do I have to create a custom action to do so? Because I need to prevent authors from submitting pre-release content in specific projects and folders.
Yes, I think I've covered this as well in my previous answer. With the next steps that we intend to do, it will be feasible to do that.
And we got a lot of compliments for what you guys presented today. If you want to share with the audience some of the proposals that were made during the polls.
Yeah, so some of you are interested in Markdown and having maybe some actions too for writing documentation in Markdown. And at some level, Positron works well with Markdown because with other document types that the large language model knows, because when you start a chat session from scratch, we also give it some metadata like what type of document it is and so, but it's always room for improvement, obviously. Yeah, so we will see. So we need to focus our efforts in just some directions. We cannot cover all of them, and DITA, it's used a lot in technical documentation projects, so that's why it's been our main focus with AI Positron. So we'll
Thank
see.
you. I will take another look at our question panel. Just a second. I am trying to maximize the window. For generated Markdown, can you specify that it uses, I think I need some help here.
That
with
it
the last
uses
question.
lightweight DITA, yeah, or other Markdown flavors. Well, after the yeah, you can do it obviously for custom actions. If you create a Positron custom actions, then you can give it all of these details, and there is a way to say you can even overwrite the default chat action and give it these instructions. If you are interested, I can reveal that secret in an email on how to do that. So we received requests, to be able to tailor the built-in actions as well. What's possible right now, it's with that context in the preferences. So even now, if you go in that context and you write there, if you're generating Markdown, be sure to generate Markdown lightweight DITA flavor Markdown, something else. I haven't tried it myself, but it should work. If you want to tailor other actions, it is on our to-do list, but it's not yet. We don't have an easy way to do it. There is one way. If you're burning with a desire to do that, write us an email and I will tell you how.
And last question, is it possible to get the What's New 27 project? I think he's our audience member is referring to the samples.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think we can share, yeah.
Yes, they will be made available in the following days, along with the recording on the same event, on the same page of the event that you used to register. So we will reply with a follow-up email with the link. Okay, well, that was it. I will take back control. And what I want to tell you that we have a new series of webinars coming up in the following year. Actually, in the first part of the year, we did not schedule them yet. We will come back with the final dates for them, but I will give you a sneak peek of what can you expect from these new events. Just a second. I have here the confidential list. So basically, we will have some webinars addressing how to solve the common Git and DITA challenges. We will have another webinar with its theme being engaging SMEs in documentation review. We have another live event that will address the continuous deployment with Content Fusion. Git-based documentation workflows, how to apply all default quick fix proposals, or how to use AI Positron for development. So a lot of events are already being created and planned for the first part of 2025. Until then, I encourage you to access our events page from the oxygenxml.com site, where you will have more details about these events and, of course, the registration links that you can access for free. So with this being said, again, a big thank you to Alex Jitianu, Octavian Nadolu, and Bogdan Dumitru for joining us today and for their great presentations. So thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you too.
And of course, the biggest thank you, as always, is to you, our audience. Well, we need to leave them with some holiday wishes. So happy New Year, and of course, happy holidays with your loved ones. So bye bye.
Thank you.